Hey there, and welcome to the second episode of what I'm calling the most blank game ever made. Yeah, I decided this is a series. On this, our second and shorter episode, I'd like to keep things light. Last episode we got real near to the concepts of alcoholism, cults, and New Balance sneakers. But on today's fun episode, I'd like to focus on a much more lighthearted topic. The inevitable march of time. I play a lot of old games. Many of those games are from when I was a kid. Some standouts include all the PS2 Ratchet & Clank games, the PS1 Crash Bandicoot games that are on Crash Bash, Super Mario Sunshine, Jedi Outcast, and so on. But when I play these games, well, I do feel nostalgia, a certain positive bias towards them, but I'm still here in the moment. It's, sadly, still 2020. I find the best way to mentally travel to the past is by consuming media that is referential to the time period it was created in. You know, parodies and satires. This is different than just reading about it. You also get to see a contemporary view of that time. When it comes to judging the mood and overall feeling of an era, at least for my lifetime, this is the best way to feel like it's the good old days again. This isn't the subject of the video, but if you're interested in this kind of feeling, I suggest watching some of the earlier seasons of South Park. Because there's always tried so hard to be relevant, things I've completely forgotten were considered a big deal get brought up and bring just a massive tidal wave of remembrance to my mind. I don't even remember like half the celebrities they bring up. So with that intro over, let's actually talk about the game. The Legend of Zelda and the Lampshade of No Real Significance, created by the Super Flash Brothers in 2005. When covering games like this, I'm always curious of what kind of YouTube representation they have, and this one peaks at 19,000 views. Which is funny, because I know people who've played this when it was new. This is one of those things from Newgrounds. Man, I miss Newgrounds. That, they never really quite made the jump to YouTube. I mean, it was a game after all, you can't play it on YouTube. While Newgrounds' video creators would eventually migrate to YouTube in droves at the promise of monetization and then all be slaughtered or become Let's Players, it wasn't so simple for those who made games. Before we go any further, this game came out on the same day as the Flash video The Decline of Gaming 3, also by the Super Flash Brothers. The video is 15 minutes long, which in 2005 meant it would take some serious, painful time to load, so this Zelda game was created to help pass those minutes. The Decline of Gaming series isn't really fantastic, but it is interesting in the same way this game is. It really, really takes me back.
Snake, do you even know what you're talking about? Snake?
Bang. Haha, you're dead.
I'm not joking here, this actually predates Metal Gear Awesome. The Super Flash Brothers alternated between cartoons and games until 2010, when they decided to just make games. Let's talk about Lampshade here again. There's a literary trope called lampshading. You've seen it before. It's when, in some media, something ridiculous or implausible happens that doesn't really fit the mood, and to help smooth it in, characters will acknowledge just how ridiculous it is. Considering there is a literal lampshade here, it literally goes without saying. I'd also like to point out that this game first appeared as a joke in the first Decline of Video Gaming video. We now enter high school. McDonald's. Oh boy, I'm having a nostalgic moment. Seeing this reminds me of a lot of amateur content from this era, like Ding Fries Are Done, or fast food maps in the early days of Gary's Mod. All rendered at a glorious maximum 240p. I hope my point's getting across here. Yeah, McDonald's still exists, but the context of this game is what is causing me to have a code red realization that 15 years has passed. Wow. Unironic leet speak. We can't bring the lampshade to the temple because the guard wants a burger from the aforementioned McDonald's, and we can't buy it because they're apparently out of burgers. I first played this on Newgrounds, and this guy was bugged out and I couldn't talk to him. I had to download the game from some site first and then it worked, but only in Chrome. This game is like the prime example of my friend the video game character. Just walking around and boom, Samus, Dante, Kirby, but with a gun. Then you've got all the dudes walking around in their t-shirts and baggy pants. Well, this is basically a side product of the decline of video gaming series. It reminds me a lot of webcomics like Control-Delete and the other ones that were even worse and thus forgotten. So we have to take the money to the Super Flash Brothers. Self-insert, of course. The two biggest 2005 hits of the game come here. First, if you look in the bottom right, you'll see the game is dated to 2005. Secondly, when you give this guy the rupees, he says he's going to spend it on a revolution. Oh man. Oh man. I am aware I have some younger viewers, and I definitely feel like this is a bit of trivia that's just kind of been forgotten about over time. But the Revolution, or the Nintendo Revolution, was the first known name for the Wii. It wasn't used for very long, which is what hard dates this game. Dim gives us some girly hairspray, which we have to bring to the girl, haha. Samus gives us a little toy iron that we give to Heihachi for him to choke on because he wants to die for real, unlike how Bamco keeps resurrecting him. He gives us a vase, we take the vase to the well, and we get a Frog of Legend. This is one I caught immediately, but I imagine, like others, if you're unfamiliar from games from this period, you may not know who to give this to. It's Snake. In Snake Eater from 2004, there were a bunch of these little frogs you could shoot. The hint is that it's tasty, so Snake Eater. It isn't necessary, but I decided to say hi to Tom Folk. I thanked him for Castle Crashers. It's 2005, so he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Are you getting sick of the Zelda music yet? This song, originally from Ocarina of Time, is what actually kept this game in my mind for the past 15 years. It plays non-stop through the game, and I'm recreating that experience for you. I hope it gets just as stuck in your head as it is in mine. Snake gives us face paint, which we have to take to Gun Kirby. What this is a reference to is the Perfect Kirby series of Flash animations. The creator, Richie Zerbies, is in here too. He says he's working hard on Perfect Kirby 4 and Perfect Kirby, the game, but they still have not come out yet. Also, normally kid-friendly characters with guns, where else in 2005 did I see that? I can't quite remember. Kind little Kirby gives us a taser. We used it on the Snorlax type guy that had the water from the vase dumped on him. Inside, his roommate, Dan, near his Final Fantasy XI playing Dell and Spyron looking computers, bequeaths us his light gun. At first I thought this blob here was a puddle of water, or, you know, but on second thought it is just a beanbag. Dante gets the light gun and gives us a shovel in return because he can't DT with it. We dig up a human corpse, like you do, and take it to McDonald's. But first let's go to PC World. Rubber Ninja. Hey, another name I recognize. This guy's still YouTube famous. Macromedia Flash MX 2059. How naive we were. We give the corpse to the McDonald's worker, which was impossible on Newgrounds, and he makes us a burger. Around 2005, I remember a lot of jokes about McDonald's being made of pink goo, but never corpses, but to each their own. The guard gets the burger, we enter the temple, place the lamp. And that's it. No more. Game over. The end. I mean, what do you expect? If you're trying, you can easily beat this game in 5 minutes or less, which is the point. It was just meant to be a loading screen game for a Flash animation. I skipped a lot of the interactions from my run through there. A lot of the people you can talk to are clearly the author's friends. In a way, this is a personal game, meant for a specific 2005 Newgrounds audience. I meant my reasoning for calling this game the most isn't as watertight as the last episode, but you see it, right? Maybe it's just me, but this game just reeks of the mid-2000s. I get it with a lot of nostalgia playing this, and honestly, some sadness. Playing something like this, something that's so connected to the time period in which it was made, well, it makes me feel old. 15 years gone by. I'm not a kid anymore, and those that made stuff like this have moved on. The aesthetic of these old Flash games, the humor, the visuals, the content, there's nothing quite like it anymore, and I can't help but be a little sad for what was lost. But, here's the thing, 15 years is not really that long. Newgrounds still exists, if less popular. Zelda's still riding high, Rubber Ninja and that guy who voiced Solid Snake earlier are doing great. You've got old Flash creators like OneyNG still putting something out occasionally. The people who made this game made snipper clips. And stuff so much older than this is still relevant. The music comes from 1998, the game series parodied from 1986. Animaniacs just got a reboot thing and it ended in 98. Plenty from 2005 is still kicking. People still play Melee. Call of Duty still comes out every year. And this highly referential simple parody stuff is of course still kicking. Only the things that have changed stand out. But little things like this can slip through the cracks and be forgotten. Nearly 4 million gameplays, but just 19,000 views means many people didn't remember this well. With all that attention, it is still relatively obscure. And while I do not think it will or should be lost forever, I hope this video reminded at least some of you about this game. And the year of 2005. For those of you who weren't playing Flash games at the time, give them a shot. There's something special about them. Thanks for watching.